So, when I left, Andy had that. Yeah.
See, we got till 6 o'clock. I think there will be a rush.
Do you? Well, I think
Talking about the job.
He's
fair.
optimistic. Nobody wants to.
Let me tell you, when they send us next one. And we're like the first ones, so we're grabbing everybody.
Can I ask you a question? Is candidate D the one that has the PD license?
Yes.
Anybody know if Stacy's coming?
I haven't talked to him at all.
It's his committee.
Some water and got coffee.
Actually, I'll put one of those right there.
No, we're not going to.
Good job. Great job.
Thank you.
That's the tip he gets. Great job.
That's right. Praise. It's the other arm, double nickel. I love that. That will stick with us.
You're just not old enough to remember.
Hey, I'm single.
You know he's gonna do us a favor and they get ridiculed by everybody tell you.
You say you do that beforehand.
Good job, Cass. Keep it up.
I think you're just putting gasoline on the fire there.
Am I?
You're supposed to be a calming influence.
That's what they come to HR for. Okay.
You call
What? Look, here's the thing. I'll tell you something. Identified something I forgot. Because I'm sure.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty thick.
I am not perfect. And even after I made all the copies, I had to go back for it.
He didn't answer. He said he called.
Getting back on here with half the staff.
First time to tell us that. It's nice to see.
You know, he didn't have degrees and all.
Well, he's
That's right,
involved.
yeah.
Yeah,
He also had.
Did he?
He was one of the sharpest individuals I ever met.
That's what, I never was around very much.
He
He
was,
just wants it for people.
he was not.
When he knew his job and he did it, and he was not one of these.
He didn't suffer fools there.
Hey, Mayor, we plan on coming to, committee 12. Yeah. Yeah. That's no problem. All right. Sounds good. Thanks. That's all right. He's coming. He thought it was at 1, but he's in town, so he can come right over.
Okay.
So,
And I don't think this discussion will take that long.
no, it's,
Pretty cut and dry.
Mayor said he was gonna zoom in.
Oh.
He is.
He's on there.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay.
I see you got your little stash there.
I did finally break down and call the doctor, you know, they will let you come in for a call.
Really?
Yeah, and come in, so.
For the department.
I wish you could have been there when the fire pulled them up.
They're super excited.
Oh. that's- oh, it's not- that's not- There's no number two. Is that it? So it's a little bit of different functions. And I think we can pick up on the bridge and that too. Yeah, I'll keep in mind. Well, they were actually sending out little,
Yeah, so I think the staff. they can- you know,
say, and our guys were there. I mean, we got a good turnout, we had them. We were inside there.
Wait before.
It's been a long time.
Wow.
No. His, kind of works for Kevin or
Mhm.
Canicia or something. I can't remember the last name, so on my phone. I think he does more of
That's
the,
most of, yeah.
does more of the road. He was here, I think, when we did our, comparison between, Cumberland. Sorry, y'all.
You're fine.
I don't know how I had that logged in my phone at 1.
There is one at one with MSAS.
Okay, then I guess this one didn't get logged.
This one is the review, so tried to do that. That will still just refer to them.
Candidate A, B, you think?
This is the job description.
Thank you. Call it the Building Grounds Committee meeting to order. First on the agenda, I think is to applications.
I've given you each a copy of the applicant. They have application, resume, some have cover letters, letters of recommendation, and other documents. I've stapled each of them together and labeled them candidate A, B, C, D, E. And you have an overview summary in the Excel sheet that shows the candidates, who it is, their requirements, what experience they have, education. So what we need to do, I've also given you a copy of the job description with the minimum requirements. I'll give you guys some time to look through the applicants so we can determine who we want to send forward to the MPAS assessment. And then we also need to talk about what other processes we want, like our piece, interviews, meet and greets, what that looks like.
Okay, so we have 6 total, correct?
Yes,
And there are, how many that meet the requirements?
5 of them.
Okay,
The last one, candidate F, doesn't meet the minimum. So we shouldn't consider him further. And out of the 5 that do meet the minimum, and we can send up to 6 people through the assessment. So we can send all of them, or we can narrow it down.
You didn't get any light ones yet, right?
I did not. Yes, yes. Or I can email you the real ones without the scribbling and stuff on it.
that's fine.
There's two back. Two pages. that are-
This is his resume.
Just wanted to.
You got a winner, you got an extra. Could be.
Yeah.
You have an extra one too? I printed it twice. Thank you.
Reuse that paper.
I'm going to. Waste.
Since we have fewer applicants, aside from the one who make the minimum qualifications, we have fewer than what they said they could most definitely handle. Y'all seen the reason not to send all of them through the process?
I haven't yet. I'm on candidate E right now. This is the last one. I know he's qualified by his resume. So
And we got some more time. I don't want to rush.
no, I see no reason. I see no reason not to send 5 and 6 through.
We need a. No matter, just do it. I mean,
Make a note of it.
okay. I think we all hope some not be more people will apply, but I think the ones that have,
Good ones.
yeah, I agree.
Surprised we didn't have one. Versus- Got out. However,
Haven't run out of stimulus checks yet. In July. Governor ran about this.
3rd of July.
Oh, I thought it was 31st.
No, I think it's the 3rd, maybe it is 3rd, but I think the federal thing runs out at the end of September, September anyway. So. Why wait that long? Right, so I think we're all in agreement that we're seeing
Okay.
qualifications.
A through B?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what that gets next?
So in addition, again, MCAS is a one data point, unbiased, no one from the city's involved. So that would be a factor in a decision. We need to determine what else we want to do, like internal interviews. If you want meet and greet, we can set it up, whatever you guys are comfortable with. But we would definitely want to do internal interviews and anything else you guys think would be important, because you want to take all the data together when you make a decision. What internal opinion, external. Any thoughts?
Let it roll. Internal interviews is a no-brainer. I mean, that's kind of given. Beyond that, we want to talk about a meet and greet.
That's something Oklahoma did. It was nice, and you'll need to weigh in here. They let their other directors, they had a breakfast and just had for a quick meet and greet, then they did their internal.
So I thought MTS was gonna be, are we getting the cart in front of the horse before we meet with MTS to make that decision at this point?
No, MCAS is only the assessment. So I've got the
Okay, so
behavior,
that's nothing,
that's one data point.
okay, okay.
So that doesn't involve us.
Okay.
We will want to determine how we want to screen.
Okay,
in
very well,
behavior.
sorry.
Okay.
Gonna pull my head out of the ditch.
I mean, we could also do internal interviews. We usually include directors. The meet and greet was just something, it was unique. I've never heard of that. And they did. Really, it's up to us.
Meet and greet is awkward.
I would, yeah, because you're gonna see their social representative anyway, you're not gonna see them.
Right.
You're gonna meet the facade.
Yeah, I don't see my benefit to that.
I'm not fired up about.
Just as an idea. Would it be advantageous for the three of us to have lunch with these health people individually?
You could do
They're
that.
not far away from here. Here we've got Manchester, we've got Morrison, and we've got Murfreesboro. You know what I mean? We could probably do that over a 1 week time period, do you think? Or 2 week, and it doesn't even have to be lunch. We could do a breakfast if it's earlier for some, then breakfast, do a breakfast with one and lunch with them, just to, you know.
Yeah, they're all within driving distance, so there wouldn't be any additional cost for them.
I think that would be a smarter move than putting the other department heads in there. I mean, what are they gonna say? You know, great place to work.
And also too, we don't want them to feel that they're being scrutinized by everybody, because there's nobody scrutinizing anybody at this point. It's just a face with a name. How you doing? This is what I do. This is what you do. This is what you do. We understand what you do. We're just, I guess if we were dogs, we'd be sniffing each other's tails. You know what I mean? I mean, really, it's just what it is. It's just, you know, rather than in a neutral environment would be better, I believe, also than coming in here.
I think it
You know?
would be important to the personable aspect of it, because I think that's critical for the role. And determining that in an unstructured, more comfortable environment is important.
What do you say, let's get them to come, because all of us, I know you're busy, I'm busy too, and I'm sure you got plenty to do. Maybe we can get them to come up here and we can see which ones work better for breakfast, which ones work better for lunch, and we can just see who our early guys are. We think.
So you're talking about just with the committee?
Yeah, why not? And that way they kind of know us a little bit, we kind of know them a little bit, and, we can just kind of tell them what we're looking for and see what their thoughts are. We know what we're looking for, let them tell us. Just to feel them out a little bit. I think it would probably be less stressful on them to meet in a neutral location and just have an informal breakfast. Hey, how you doing? So when you see my name, this is me. When you see his name, this is him. This is everything.
Yeah, I think we do need to have some face time. One of the things that I'm concerned about on all of these is there's not a lot of written word as to one of the very key things that we're looking for, and that's how they interact with with builders and developers and that kind of stuff. And there's not a lot of that addressed in here.
Well, and it wouldn't, because we haven't advertised that's what we're looking for. That's what came out in the interviews with MTS, and that's what we would screen.
That's what we want, and it may not be addressed in here, but I think face to face, we could give them that. Say, look, this is one of the key things we're looking at. Show us how you've done this before. In your present job, if you had to work with X, Y, Z type.
And we'll talk about that when we get to the assessment components. There is a couple options where we can do that in a setting. It's role playing, but it's real life setting. Here's what you do. Here's the problem.
Go over again to us what MTS is going to do.
MTS is going to pull in assessors from other areas and make sure they don't come from any of the areas our applicants are in. And they'll have experience. We have an HR person, and then the rest will have experience in community development, planning, codes. They'll come in, and based on the components that we choose for the assessment center, there are 8 competencies that they're going to measure. So if we do the role play, they'll bring it in, they'll do a role play. While this is happening, the assessors are looking at these competencies and putting comments down. Then you'll absolutely have a structured interview, a behavioral interview. And then we need to decide on the other components. There's an option where we can give them a real life problem that we've been facing, and they'll have an hour to think about what the problem is, come up with a solution. They'll come in and they're going to present it to the assessors, and the assessors will act as, expertise in the field. They may act as a board member, and the applicant will have to defend the solution and answer questions back and forth. So that's more of a real life setting.
This is face to face,
Yes.
but only each one on. One at a time.
Applicant is at a time, but all the assessors see all of the applicants doing the same thing.
Do that all the same day, I think, right?
Yes. If we do all 5, it'll be 2 days.
Okay, but still sit down in this room or the room we provide, and interview with these people based on the guidelines we give them, plus some that they have.
Well, MTS has created it, and I'll hand
But you
it
said
out.
we could also put it
Not
in.
for the assessment center. The
Okay.
only thing for the assessment center that we decide are what components. So the oral problem where they're just, defending their decision is one. You can have them do a formal PowerPoint presentation. I don't know that that's something we really need. That's from to the job.
I don't care if they're good at that.
Yeah, there's inbox exercises where you give them like ingoing mail, something they have to work with that day.
How long do they spend with each one?
Let's see, role play was probably 20, maybe 30 minutes. Interview, an hour and 15. Probably about a good 3 hours.
For each one? That's the reason they're talking about 2 days for
Yes.
6 people or 5.
When it's all said and done, we'll have, so far what we've talked about, we'll have the MTS assessment, we'll have the in-house interviews, we'll have a meeting if we individually with them, if that's what we want to do. And we have the applications. Anything else talked about so far? And I guess your question is Is that enough?
I think that's, gives you a well-rounded view of the candidates in various data points to make a decision. You're gonna get more from doing all of that than you would just interviewing.
I agree completely. I mean, we'll wait too many times on our interview. Wait too many times. It's gonna take some time, but I mean, we need to make one hire, make the right one. Time to get it done.
Well, the whole thing with MCAS, we won't even be involved in that, so
Right.
that's one less thing that we've got to do.
Right.
And like I said, I don't care how much time it takes, as long as we get the best person we can get.
I agree.
You know, we don't want to be doing this again for 6 months.
No, I think not, but
Was the committee present during the in-house interviews? Is that,
They typically aren't, but I mean,
Who's gonna do that?
the in-house, myself, Nolan, I include some directors. Because I feel they know the day-to-day, and I think they'll pick up on things. Shirley?
I think if you're gonna do that, this is after we, I guess, whittle them down a little bit or not. We're not, okay.
I give them all, if you're sending them all to the assessment center, then you're gonna want well-rounded data. Now,
Well,
you could wait and get the results of the assessment center back, but you personally haven't had any interaction with the candidate, and that's one data point depending on other people. And I think we need to be more involved.
well, I think we need to be involved too. We've got the hiring decision to make. He needs to be there because they're gonna
Yes.
work for him. I think that it's absolutely needs to be done. But if we're gonna be the ones that say yay or nay, then I think we need to be on that face to face. I mean, I've got questions I want to ask. Maybe they're already been asked, but
I'm interested in seeing that, but I mean, I don't care. I'm not really that interested in asking questions because I think unless something just glares at me, they got left out. I think all the questions are going to get asked. I mean, I just,
take a measure.
I think it'd be nice to be there, but then, you know, you start, you got other department heads. I mean, there's one of them, a lot of people there. I don't know what's typical.
We made a lot of people.
could I just think, can I think out loud here for just a second? So if we take the candidates and we eat breakfast with them, eat lunch with them, something like that, and then we do in-house interviews here, then we could reconvene and determine which ones of those go to in-house. Maybe all 5 do, because I'm sure that's a fee, right?
You can do, no, it's free.
And that's free. So it's just time
The
investment.
only thing we will have to possibly pay is if we have to get an assessor that has to travel in and spend the night. HR is gonna be within driving distance. One of the assessors, he's, very qualified, is gonna stay with John at a Airbnb here, so we won't pay for that. So depending on the other two, we may or may not have to pay.
Oh,
hotel.
that's cheap.
Still, yeah, I mean,
300, 400, 500 bucks.
Right.
That's awesome. It's a really good matter. So step one is just informal, have a little milk, break a little bread, and then here, and then impact. And then we assemble all the data available to us at that point, and then make a hiring recommendation. That's pretty straightforward to me.
Tell us where to show up.
Well, for me, it'd be easier if they would come here for breakfast or lunch as opposed to me going somewhere else. I'm like a major overload, and I have been, and it's not that getting better.
We can't find a place to eat here.
Yeah, well, it's, you know,
The only problem is breakfast around here. You can't
Well,
find
if you
breakfast
don't
around
do it
here.
on a Monday, you got vanilla bean And
Cumberland Biscuit.
Cumberland,
Yeah.
is it Wednesday through Sunday?
Yeah, Cumberland Biscuit, I forgot about that.
I think Wednesday.
Don't do breakfast.
Nope,
Oh, really?
they don't open up.
Oh, no.
Except for lunch.
I guess no buffet.
They got rid of their buffet and he says he's not. But yeah, that would have been a place for breakfast.
Yeah,
But
got that little private room in the back. Okay, well, Cumberland Biscuit or Vanilla Bean, those two are, I mean, you always go to Fouch's, at least it's good food over there.
yeah,
You know, yeah, so plenty, but just need to figure out who is better in the morning and who's
Right.
better at lunch. I don't want to do dinner.
No.
That's kind of like I'm done with people by that. On me, yeah, this one. So will you reach out to them and see which time, morning or noon fits
Right.
better with each applicant?
With you guys, do you want to do that the week before the assessment?
how long does it take to get the results back from the assessment?
We can ask him. I think he can get it done within a week. It's a very lengthy report with a lot of stuff broken down and then a summary of what the candidate displayed as strengths.
I wonder if we need to have that before we set it. Would that give us any insight?
I wouldn't look at anything until I had everything together, because you don't want to skew your outlook.
Well, I think is you take 5 different people, the 3 of us working out schedules to meet with that many different people and have breakfast or lunch with them. That's going to take a little while. So I don't know if we should wait until after anything or before anything. Just try to.
You've got the week of the 4th is the week before, and people are patient.
Yeah.
But we can try. We can look at the last week of June and first, second week of July, if you guys are open.
Is anybody going anywhere in the next?
I'm definitely think July is. The only thing I have is the 9th. I'm out on the 9th. I'm not leaving town. I just have a commitment on the whole day.
I'm gonna be gone from 30th through the 6th, and that's it.
So 6th, 7th, and 8th, I guess all of us are here. And I mean, I'm getting anytime next week. I don't have anything. I don't have anything booked at all.
It's 7th, 8th. I don't,
Let me
I'm
ask
not
you
gonna get
something.
back to the evening of the 6th.
So sometimes if too much time passes, we don't have a good recollection. Will it be a problem stretching it out?
I'd rather not stretch it out very long. But
Okay. What we could do.
frame it up.
What we could do is look at maybe the week of the 12th, and even if we have to bleed it into the 19th or the 20th. So they'll be doing the assessment and we'll have recency. So you're gonna get to see them. We can do our interviews and they'll do the assessment right then. So then when we get the report, we're ready to sit down and make a decision, and it's fresh in everyone's mind.
The assessment is on what day?
The 15th and the 16th of July.
Okay, so maybe we try to do those. It's gonna be hard to get 5 breakfasts in or 5 lunches.
Well, it's gonna spread. So are you gonna do breakfast and lunch with the internals?
I don't see how we could not, I mean, unless, of course, we kind of know them, you know?
That's the
Maybe
whole
it's
reason
just-
for
Maybe
this
it's just the 3 people we don't know that we need to do. Because we have a good feel for the people that we've already worked with.
Unless there are things you would like to ask the internal candidates.
You could always walk up to their office.
I mean, in a more formal setting.
I don't really see that. I don't really see that.
We could holler at you and say, hey,
Okay,
bring them down and let's sit down and talk.
And you
If
could
we
do
got a question.
that would be very easy to do there.
I don't see that. It's really what it's gonna be, is it's gonna be comparing the externals to the internals. That's really what, it's just gonna be the contrast between the ones we don't know versus the ones we do, isn't that? I mean, isn't that right?
I'm not sure I'm gonna know anything more about it just by taking the breakfast.
Well, you'll know if they're a jerk.
No, I'm talking about the
Oh,
interns.
the intern, no, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was on the wrong page. Yeah, I'm with you. There, so I think that's a good point. Maybe we do that with the externals and the internals.
got questions, you can. I think that's easy, because they're here 8 hours a day. It's just three.
Yeah, that makes it, yeah. Three of us, a lot easier. Get 5 to 7.
We're gonna look at doing that. What week do you want to try to do that?
We can do it.
Thinking of? The 15th and 16th of the assessment, right?
Right, but that doesn't mean we could do a breakfast or lunch because the applicants will come in and they're only gonna be tied up for that time. So you'll have, maybe one will come in the morning and then your other one's gonna come in right at lunch. So a lot of, just gonna complicate it because I'm a scheduler. You could do your breakfast and lunches that day. You could do breakfast with a guy that's coming in the afternoon to assess on the 15th. Lunch with the guy that just finished up assessing on the 15th. And then we can schedule the other external on the next day and you can do either breakfast or lunch.
Days.
Option, just
I mean,
Squeeze it down as much as you can.
I'm good. I can commit 2 days like that, just block them off and just make sure that I don't have anything else going on. That's fine, because we just have 3. No, so we have to do 3 in 2 days. So I think that's fair.
I don't want this thing to get out of hand like it did when we interviewed for Nolan's job. We stretched it out to a point where people dropped out.
yeah, we're not gonna do that.
I mean, that went over 2.5 months, and it was just ridiculous how long.
Once we get the report from MTS, we'll have enough data, there'll be no reason not to make a decision.
Okay.
Even if it's, we don't feel comfortable with any of the applicants, let's re-advertise. But we'll have enough data that we feel comfortable making.
So I'm going to basically block off the whole day on the 15th and the 16th.
Okay,
We're gonna commit to that. Is that what we're doing? I'm spending all day. So I don't book anything at all, period.
We're on Facebook.
Yep.
I mean, it's live.
Yeah.
So
yes. We're gonna stop this and start the 1 o'clock with MTS, right? Separate.
Are we done with that?
So is that, we done everything we need to do? So should I adjourn this meeting? This meeting's adjourned.
I want to say something, it's just for everybody.